without a little blooper. Y'all know me. I'm queen of the bloopers. I'm Kat Vine, your host of Cat Calls, the show that I do most Thursdays here at twitch.tv/KATBEIN. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, I love you so much. Thank you for watching. But you know what you should do is you should come to the show live when it happens on Twitch, because Tord and Strike is here and Chaloots are here, and there is no reason why you shouldn't be here as well. It is a good time, okay? Run and tell that, homeboy. You guys remember that? Anyway, this is the penultimate episode of Cat Calls Season 3. And the Cat Cord. I have a Discord. Cat Cord? Is that what we call the Discord? I love it. Tord and Strike manages all of my digital affairs. Just who's on next week? We're not here to talk about next week, Tord and Strike. We're here to talk about this week, okay? And everyone needs to give a big round of applause right now to today's guest. Everybody give it up for MZG! Yes! Woo! It's loud enough so we can hear you in the back. Yes, they need to hear you all the way in Denver, which is where they live. Okay, but I met MZG in the deserts of, Joshua Tree, just a couple of months ago at our mutual friend Jamie Sloan's 30th birthday bash, and I just immediately felt a kinship with them. I'm honestly shocked that we didn't meet before, because it seems we run in a few of the same circles, and we have a lot of background in common, which we'll explore in today's chat. And Hawknet's Music, happy to see you. Hello, woo, Denver. MZG is a duo, actually, Charles and Zach, and MZG, whoa, already messing it up. MZG actually stands for a word that's a lot harder to say than MZG, so pray for me. Monozygotic, okay? It's the scientific term for identical twins, because that's what Charles and Zach are. So no, you're not seeing double. Or maybe you are. Should have another drink. Inspect that. They're both incredibly talented musicians who blend all manner of genres to create a really energetic performance on stage and in the studio. They love a bit of bass, which might explain why they moved to Denver. And we're going to give you a taste of that bass with their latest track, Armadillo. It's a collab with Manic, which is like one of my favorite names for an artist I think I've ever heard. What a great... what do they call that when you the two words, they don't make sense? Where's my brain? Manic focus is basically what I suffer from. So this track is called Armadillo. It's quite funky. It's very bassy and oxymoron. Thank you, Joey Headset. That is what I was trying to summon. And when we come back from playing Armadillo, have your questions ready, because MZG will be on the line, and this is your show as much as it is my show, as much as it is Joey Headset show and Tord and Strike show. And honestly, at some point, I might just have to give everybody kickbacks, because I love you all for being here week in and week out. And I love you all if you're new. And I love everybody. And Flat Eric, he kind of likes you, which is saying a lot. This is Armadillo, and when we come back, we'll have MZG on the line. And look at that, as if by magic, I have you in the wrong placeholders, but that's okay. That's not Charles, that's Zach. That's not Zach, that's Charles. How often does that happen to you? Woo.
Fairly often.
Yeah. You're often enough.
Day in and day out.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I might have left my notes up on the screen as well. Woohoo! Well, I am so glad that I was able to get the link to you magically through the ether of the internet. And we have a first-time chatter. Oh, but I think they're just a bot. Yeah, they're just a bot. Go home, bots!
Those bots.
Unless you have something fun.
You promotion.
Oh, thanks! I've been working really hard at this job, and I thought it was time for a promotion as well. Thank you so much for offering that, boss bot. Bots are people too, I personally believe. And yeah, I am. I'm in a twin sandwich. Lucky me. I promise we won't just make a bunch of really weird and uncomfortable twin jokes, because I'm sure that we can.
And it's
everything that you want to ask with sincere curiosity in your heart has already been asked.
You know what? Let's just knock them out. Let's knock out the greatest hits of being twins. What is the question you get asked the most? What is the question you would like to never get asked again? And what's the question everyone should ask but doesn't?
Well, the one we get asked the most is like, have we like had like sex with someone at the same time?
Like threesome.
Like a threesome. Like, have we Eiffel Towered anybody?
Yeah, right. An actual twin sandwich. Like
that one. That one is like frequently asked.
What's wrong with people? What a weird question.
Go ahead.
What's that? No,
I was just gonna say another one that's extremely uncomfortable and everyone always asks is who has a bigger dick?
What is wrong with
always
people?
Up in there. It's always sexual. There's never like something like wholehearted.
And it's not, it's not even like people ask it and they like blanch, like ooh, like they're just like whose dick is bigger? they're like ready for it. They're like
that's
like,
so.
we're just
right?
like
Yeah, right.
straight to horny jail you go.
Yeah.
Straight to horny jail. Honestly, it's honestly bizarre. It's bizarre.
It's funny because like I totally believe and don't doubt that for a second, but like what is it about just being twins that makes everyone feel like, well, you're not really people. I don't have to like respect you, right? Like
it's like the bearded lady or something like that. It's like a circus act. You're just like, oh, look, it's the twins. Like, how can we like?
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Science experiment. You know what I mean? In the gymnasium, we're just like a stand.
Step right up.
Yeah. Step right up.
So-
Throw a quarter into the slot and ask him a really weird, awkward question or whatever.
Have you come up with really good stock responses though? Like I feel like as you get asked those over and over, like maybe you've come up with a great troll back.
Sometimes,
I mean, it's just like
at the same
identical
time.
twins. That's
Like,
it. Identical means identical.
Sometimes if we're like on it, Charles and people ask like whose dick is bigger, we'll just be like his at the same time.
Oh, I love
right.
that. That's a good
That's
one.
a great auto response.
That sometimes happens. It's usually just like, yo, why would you ever ask that question? We sometimes hit people with very like complex, like smart responses that actually come from the heart. Like, hey, why would you ever ask a random stranger that? You know what I
Right,
mean?
exactly. Like what?
Sometimes it gets real, but then oftentimes we're like, that just defeats the purpose.
Well, whatever. Yeah, we don't want to be too
shallow.
disruptive.
How shallow this experience actually is.
Right, yeah. Which is, to be clear, literally the shallowest if someone's asking you that question.
No, let's just get it out of the way first.
Like, it's basically a puddle. Yeah.
I did pull a switcheroo on somebody. Like,
yeah. Oh, that was another one. The switcheroo.
the switcheroo one's funny.
Girls.
We're like,
I'm like,
well,
dude.
that's rape.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, if I have sex with a
I hate
girl,
to laugh about it,
he
but it's
doesn't know
like,
it's me. Without my consent,
We all did.
I'm like, that's not right, and I'm pretty sure that's right.
But in the switcheroo territory,
but it's cute, I guess.
did you ever switcheroo like, oh, like it's exam time in class and like you were better at this?
Benign. In the classroom, it's very benign.
Yeah.
Very benign. But like still fraudulent at its core.
Yeah.
We did it once on a police officer.
Shut up.
I was speeding. I didn't have my license. Charles
Wait a
had
second.
it.
This is we're live. Okay, cool. Let's yeah.
This happened in 2000.
Statute of limitations definitely
Dude,
like
people are getting
yeah.
retroactively canceled for a lot of shit these days.
That's true. You can never be too careful. It's true.
So I was speeding. Charles handed me
Allegedly.
Charles handed me
It
his
is.
ID, and the cop just completely fell for it. So
Nice. Well, even just having
you got a
the
warning with my
fraudulent.
ID. You got a warning with my ID, which is the best part. I was like, yeah,
That's
my
not 'cause you
clean, my
didn't
clean
take it
record
yet.
got you out of it.
yeah. It's
Other way around, I would have gotten a speeding ticket. Make no mistake.
that's real brotherly love. So now we know who drives faster, is what you're telling me.
Dude, I just got a speeding ticket this last in May on the way back from summer camp, straight up.
Oh no.
I'm paying for it double now through insurance. That shit is real.
Oh
I hate it
no.
so bad. Anyway.
What is the question people should ask twins but don't? And feel free to just make it up.
man.
No.
I mean,
Now I feel the it's just turned on me now. Like
honestly, it's like maybe normal questions you would ask your friends, like
Yeah.
what do you do for work? Like what do you do for a living? You know, like normal. You know,
yeah, like
instead of being
like do you guys have the same mom? Like I don't know.
Oh, no way! You guys have the same mom? Get the fuck out. That's so crazy.
I mean,
regular friend.
Yeah, like what should you ask twins? Like,
Nothing! Leave us alone!
Just live your life and be like, hey, what's your name? And then completely separate, like, oh, and what's your name? Not like, hey, my God, you guys.
I would rather get the. Do you guys have twin telepathy?
Yeah,
right.
Okay,
How's
that's a
that
good
work?
one.
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It's
We have
benign
some,
and like, yeah, I can just look at you and say, no, that's impossible. But, yeah.
we have some deep state. We've had some deep state people that are just like, do you feel his pain? I'm like, that's anatomically impossible.
Yeah, right.
But tell me the Reddit thread you were on. I would like to see it.
Right? Totally. Listen, if you take enough psychedelics, you will feel somebody else's pain.
I've taken enough psychedelics looking in a mirror in my dorm room in college, and I was like, part of Zach's face started to crawl over.
Oh
No!
There it is. That's the twin telepathy story that I've been waiting to hear my whole life. How many mushrooms do you have to eat until you become your twin? That's a lot. 3.5.
3.5 grams, which is a very steep amount.
Just like send it, and then once you start seeing your twin brother's face crawl over your face, that's when you should stop.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'll keep that in mind, because if I ever saw my twin sister's face, then I know I've taken a lot of drugs because I don't have one.
You might have eaten her. I don't know. A lot of people eat there.
That's what I've also heard people say, but it's like super offensive to say to like.
Another great question I would love to be asked: why didn't you eat him?
Yeah, why didn't you eat him?
Why is he here? He could have easily been eaten at a very microscopic level.
Fucked up.
I'm like, dude, now you can't eat it.
Yeah, you had to leave him alive so that he could get you out of speeding tickets. Hello. Okay, I'm so glad that we've already taken a ratchet turn to the conversation. We've already talked about dirty twin sex and getting out of speeding tickets fraudulently and eating mushrooms.
Short answer is no to all that shit.
Literally no. No, and you'll never know, and shut up now.
But, you know, I would expect nothing less from a couple of Jacksonville, Florida boys. Because, you know, Ratchet expect
Ponte Vedra to be exact.
Ponte Vedra.
Oh, okay. See, there it is.
Shout Duval.
Sorry. Golf clubs and stepmoms. That's what Ponte Vedra does, right? That's like real shit.
Stepmom specifically. I love that distinction.
We don't have a stepmom, but there are a lot of them in Ponte Vedra. So.
Lots of them. Stepmoms, stepdads, step-granddads, you know. We got
Oh my God.
Housewives.
Yeah, it sounds like a real Stepford situation. Well, what is happening? The chat's asking me. Sure, I'm allowing. For some reason, they were saying that stepmoms are really having a moment right now. Was maybe a misogynistic comment, but go home, bots. You're drunk.
Misogynistic.
We love stepmoms.
What's in Ponte Vedra?
Yeah.
We used to live there.
I bring it up because I, as well, am obviously a Florida girl, you know, but growing up in South Florida, I imagine is a little different from growing up in North Florida.
South Georgia.
So, yeah.
South Georgia.
I wanted to know if Jacksonville's as ratchet as we all who aren't in Jacksonville say it is.
It's a 100% fact. It is the way that you hear about it. I promise you.
It's the bold new city of the South. They mean that shit.
It's like honestly the largest city like in maybe I can't say the world. There's definitely bigger cities, but it's like the entire county is the city, right? Like
there's multiple.
Yes,
it's like
it's
multiple
so
counties,
big.
kind of. Yeah.
It's
land mass wise massive. It's hard to centralize that.
What's the most Jacksonville thing that happened to you while you were in Jacksonville? Or tell me the most Ponte Verde thing that happened to you when you were in Ponte Verde, but Jacksonville has more of a reputation.
Let's see.
We got held up at a Taco Bell.
Oh, yes.
That sounds very Jacksonville. Very Florida man. What did you do?
With a fishing knife, which is a very fishing knife, fillet knife, very Jacksonville thing.
That sounds.
We were leaving a bar gig too. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, get her all your money, and we're like, And
And we're in a drive-through line, so everyone's getting out of their car, like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Worst place to commit a crime, maybe ever.
Yeah.
Guy hits
like-
he hits the switch, like the guy looks out the cashier and he's like, oh shit, and he literally just hits the panic button. Squad cars roll up in droves, like so many.
Holy shit!
Then we had to go to court and like look at this guy in the face, and like he was so rough around the edges, like it was just like it was sad.
Yeah.
But it
God
was so
bless
bad.
him,
I don't
know?
know how else to explain it. I just felt dirty afterwards. I was like, dude, this guy literally was living on the streets. Now he's like got a suit. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah. Life hasn't taken a lot of really great turns. Like, you're not at your highest peak in life if you're attacking someone in the Taco Bell drive-through line with a fish knife. Like,
zero privacy. Like, nuts to butts. Like, we are like packed. It's 3 a.m. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like, we just want some tacos after a bar gig. We're like, whatever.
yeah.
Next thing you know, attack.
There you
Like,
go.
That's probably the most ratchet thing. Like,
Very
we're just
Florida.
like- we're just sitting there just like,
I couldn't believe it was happening at the time. I was like,
yeah.
you hear about this stuff on like Cops, you know what I mean? I was like, we are in a Cops episode.
Yes, that is a very Cops episode type thing as well, which is a very Florida, it's a Florida show. And it, I honestly, I almost feel bad asking you that question because as a Florida person myself, we all know that Florida is much more than Florida man. And it really is this like paradise. And I was talking to someone earlier today about like, oh, people talk a lot of bad stuff about Florida. I almost didn't want to move here. And I'm like, yeah, but you got to keep letting them talk bad so that the rents maybe don't go up any higher and they don't move here.
There is a reason why there is so much shit on the internet about Florida. Are you familiar with the Sunshine Law?
I am. Tell everyone in the chat. Tell everyone in the chat what that is.
It's essentially like all of your like the heinous crimes that are committed in Florida. It's all public record after a certain point, so you can like write about all the crazy shit that happens in Florida legally because it's like this is public record now. So
you can
commit some heinous crime. Someone's like, oh, someone cut off the head of their roommate and put them on like the mantle of like they're over their home or some crazy shit. Like Florida man. Tagline. There you go. Oh, there's
what
shit right there.
What Charles?
It's low hanging fruit. It's very low hanging fruit journalism in my opinion.
It is. But in the end, I think the Sunshine Laws are a good thing. And I learned about this in journalism school, of course. Right. But like because we have such amply public records, which also is good if you're doing like real investigative reporting on like politicians and their weird backroom business or like what is this business's weird filing about, like in that sense it's great, but of course in the sensationalist world we get Florida man, but the truth is you have state man in your state too. Just because your public record laws aren't as open as ours.
If you don't think for a second some crazy shit isn't going down in California right now.
Oh, for sure. I've been there.
Like everywhere. Like, Denver, like you name it. Like it's everywhere has like batshit crazy people. But in Florida you just can write about them a lot easier.
Exactly.
Without, like,
Florida man has now gained so much traction on the internet, and it's a snowball. It's this huge snowball. When people hear about Florida man, it's clickbait, almost instant. Yeah,
I know.
Like, what is it this time?
It's the world's most famous man, honestly. At the end of the day,
like, there's no other state that has it, and it gives people a bad rep, unfortunately. But it also keeps out, it keeps out the Looney Tunes that think that's actually all of Florida.
Yeah, Torden Strike says Arizona man could scare Florida man into the ocean. I'd love to see that fight, honestly. That would be a great celebrity death match.
There are other states that have sunshine laws, right? It's not just...
Well, they're probably not called the Sunshine Law, but, I'm not sure. Although I also want to shout out first-time chatter Sexual Manatee for saying Florida is the most diverse place on Earth, and honestly, way to just keep Florida man culture alive with that name.
Yeah, that's actually
Sexual Manatee is the most diverse man in the most diverse place on Earth. Like,
Manatee, the most diverse.
Make no mistake.
I want to know what Colorado what Colorado man's be like. When did y'all move to Colorado? To Denver?
Almost
Just
5
about-
years ago.
Yeah, March 29th of 2023 will be 5 years on the dot.
Wow, that's like just do you feel kind of like locals yet? Like, when do you start to cross that line? Yeah?
No, I guess it's different for
100%.
everybody. I don't know what the threshold for localizing is, but 5 years seems like minimum threshold.
I'd accept it.
We went back to Florida like recently, and like it's still Charles and I were just talking about like, wow, like it's crazy you spend enough time somewhere else where what I used to feel like was home doesn't even come close anymore. It's really strange. Spent
People
15
I'm familiar with, I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah,
Right.
like when I'm with people I know,
My
but when I'm
mom's
like
house is a home.
Yeah, of course. Mom's
You know,
house,
but,
still
like-
home.
we're driving on 75. Used to do that all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're driving on 75. I'm like, what is this foreign land with all these Jesus billboards everywhere?
Oh my God. Yeah, for real.
Publix.
It's a definite like blast from the past at this point for sure.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic and
Yeah.
definitely kind of like you just go back in time.
It was
Yeah.
hard not to
Spot.
feel a little out of place, but I guess it's just because we spend so much time somewhere else that you go back home, you're like, oh, I'm like adjusting.
Yeah, and things change so quickly. I mean, 5 years can be 500 years the way that Florida is developing. But I think that also speaks to how well you've been embraced by the community that you moved into.
Of course.
And before we get too far into that, what is your Chiba Hut order? I don't even know what that means, but you have to explain it to me.
Chiba Hut is a scamwich. Thoughts?
It's
Sorry,
It's
dude. It's a bread sandwich.
It's a bread sandwich.
It's a bread sandwich? I believe you. Listen, facts as far as I know.
Not crazy about it.
Is that just like a
no
is-
shot at my ordering, but if I were to do it, it would be a blunt. I don't know, chicken Caesar blunt or whatever. I'd have to get the biggest order to get actually full because anything
And
underneath that,
double
I'm
meat,
like
double
hungry.
cheese.
Yeah,
We did this the other. We did this.
it was like a $50 order once we did it too. I was like,
two
what is
sandwiches
this?
a piece just to get full.
What?
Get full.
Far from the Taco Bell drive-thru. So far from the
Sorry.
Taco Bell
Sorry,
drive-thru.
yeah, sure.
Step it up.
So wait, so is Chiba Hut? I'm gathering that Chiba Hut is a weed-themed fast food restaurant.
Very much so.
Like, is it like Denver specific, or is it a Colorado thing?
I think
I don't know.
I haven't looked too far into it. All I know is I've left with disappointment, and
All I know is that shit sucks. Like,
I know.
Dude, if
because
Chiba Hut's listening, I'm
listen
sorry.
here.
This is how I feel.
that sponsorship's fault not coming through.
Question
know-
asked, answer given.
we know what a good sandwich is, and I tell you, they don't got good. He's got no good sandwich.
Amazing.
I'm not
I
gonna be fooled with some fluffy bread. I'm just not gonna.
Not
be fooled.
doing it, bro.
I
Can't
feel
pop
that.
bread.
I'll go double protein at Subway before I go.
Straight up, straight.
Clip.
it's done. Okay, loving this. What did you expect when you moved to Denver? Like, why did you move to Denver? And then what is it? What have you found? Sorry, that came out so brain
no,
dead.
you're good. We moved to Denver for music to pursue a musical career. We had just graduated college, which took us both 6 years because we were both doing musical things in the midst of like trying to finish school as well. So it took us longer than 4. But we graduated, and then our friend Sexual Manatee.
Hey!
He actually linked us with his boy who had like a couple of rooms that were available there, and we were like, sold, let's do it. We packed all our shit in my mom's Scion XB that she gave us.
Oh, shout out,
Toaster.
Mom.
We had a toaster, big box car full of our gear, and we're just like, we're going to Colorado.
Wow.
So yeah, we did that, and basically just came out here specifically just to like achieve, more growth in our music career. Outside of like, I think we had reached a plateau in Jacksonville to a certain degree. Live Oak and the Spirit of Swanee Music Park, like that city and place definitely was a huge help towards like us garnering enough confidence to like pack our shit up and leave and feel like, oh, this is working here. I feel like it could work elsewhere too. So that's essentially like why we decided to move. We were like, let's take the risk and pack our shit up and go.
Yeah, and I know there's so much that goes into a decision like that. I feel like people in South Florida go through a very similar thing. Like, it also, I think everyone in life, like you grow up in a certain place and you want to see how you'll do if you go somewhere else, and you want to see like how you can grow if you challenge yourself to just like be in a new community and meet new people. But kudos to you for doing it. And the Denver community, I literally have spent 24 hours in Denver, so I can't say that I'm an expert at all. I have had all-night layovers in the airport a couple times, which has been sad and uncomfortable.
That, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
You could build a house there.
You could. I did, maybe.
a couple of houses, yeah.
Build a couple of houses.
Tent City and Gate
You can,
City or whatever.
you can really explore.
But it seems like it's a very welcoming and community-oriented scene, too.
I would agree. That's one of the main...
Easily the main reason why.
Yeah?
Well, I mean, so honestly, it was a bit of a surprise, too, because, obviously going into things, you're apprehensive. You're like, oh, what if they don't like me? You know what I mean? And, like, Denver loved us. And everyone was like, yo, this is awesome. We don't get a lot of this. Like, we're going to go to your shows and then build a fan base,
That's
and
so
it was
awesome.
just like, it was really cool. And it wasn't like better, but it just felt like different than in Florida, because we still have homies in Florida that love us and support us and like all love to them. The attention we got out here in Denver was because I feel like we were so new to them that they were like, oh wow, this is, and it brought a fresh energy to both parties, us and them.
Yeah.
There's like a saturation of like ticket buyers and people that want to go out to be entertained by
they're just
music.
everyone's
shows. There's so much to do. Almost like, I mean, Red Rock season alone, you're just sitting there like, oh my god, there's a lot going on all the time. So like, but there's plenty to go around for everybody too. So I feel like it was definitely like one of the safer bets as far as like, oh, a new like budding musical career. Let's put them into like like a mass amount of ticket buyers and people that like to be entertained and see what sticks, and like it's been doing well so far.
Yeah,
but ultimately moving out of your hometown to like definitely big, like that's overall the core reason is like get out of your hometown, try and see what you can do.
And we fought that ideal for a long time.
Yeah,
we were just like, no, like as long as the music's good, it's gonna be. Who cares where you live? And I was like, looking back.
It's not even about. It's just like
eat my words. I just think even if music wasn't a part of it, I feel like as a human, it's really nice to transplant yourself into a new pot of soil and just grow different in a different environment. And then the transplant, the stress of it is part of the growing process. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But you really never know. You can speculate all day, like you just don't know until you do it. So that's what was like really awesome. I'd say about Denver.
And Denver seems like the music scene is really diverse and is like a really great place for people who like to experiment and kind of genre blend, at least in the music that I'm familiar with that comes out of that city. And I think y'all have always kind of been coming from a place of genre blending and bending.
Yeah, totally.
I'd love to hear how the process of transplanting yourself to a new place inspired you and how that freshness translated to maybe the way you create, the sounds you like to play around with.
We moved to the base capital and started making bass music, like honestly, pretty much. So like,
right, it's as simple as that,
folks. The soundscapes of the land have definitely like taken over. Like after a certain point, like we weren't making like really super heavy stuff, but then we moved to Denver and. I don't know. A lot of heavy stuff kind of started to.
Yeah, hard not to.
I was driving down. We were driving down I-70, and I was talking to Charles about it. I said the main difference about living in Florida, which is a very kind of flat, neutral place with not a lot of hills, is Colorado is so dynamic. And what I mean by that is there's peaks, there's valleys. There's extreme like steep grades, and then there's low grades. And there's so much to like move. There's so many places to go and so much room to move around. I'd say that's what inspired me the most to kind of put more dynamics into our music, peaks, valleys, telling a story. You know what I mean? And being surrounded by just kind of a flat neutral area for a long time, which is beautiful and peaceful and like has so many amazing qualities. It's really cool to get up into the mix of a very dynamic environment. And I feel like I added a lot of that to our sound.
Yeah, I'd love for you to name drop some tracks that you feel like capture that for folks.
Let's see here. We get on to.
I feel like as far as like the range, like we have like tracks all the way from Bullin', which was essentially like our most Colorado-based tune, I think, that we've made collectively. Kyle Expanko also, they're our collaborators on that track. Great guys to know. Awesome music as well. But then you have like Ease Our Minds with Benny Bloom.
Yep, which we'll listen to later.
A G-Funk track. Like, the song you played by Chris, the one we did with Chris Carnes.
Yeah.
She's All Right.
Oh, so good.
Then we have the Energy with Big Gigantic. Like all these other that
is in and of itself, like as a whole, our sound is dynamic. We can go super heavy, and then we can go chill.
Yeah.
And it just
easy listening to bass.
You know what I mean? And it's like, but it still has our sound. It's still kind of it's still what it is. It's like,
well, that has to be
beat driven and bass heavy.
Most fun when you're on the decks too, right? Like, because then you just have this just like broad palette.
Well, we were DJs by trade before a lot of this. We were DJing all sorts of different environments, understanding different demographics of humans and what they like, what they dislike, and playing to the crowd. So like we almost felt like it was necessary as just like DJs at heart. We were like, well, we need some stuff that we could play in a chill setting, and we need some stuff that we could play in a very heavy setting, a hype setting. We need stuff that we could play in a sort of just building the party up, or late night stuff. I don't know. Like,
it's really been a way we've been challenging ourselves in a sense to really, I don't know, kind of like not box into like one thing.
But it also keep it into a box too. Like when you listen to those songs, you can hear similar drum samples, similar flow.
No, I totally understand what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Totally get it.
But because I know producers that can literally make two different songs, and it sounds like two different producers, two different boxes. Fitting different things into one sort of mesh sound. That is, I think, the challenging part. That requires a lot of organizational skills and stuff that you sort of don't think goes into a lot of production. Like, oh, this is going to be one of our signature sounds. That's going in our productions no matter what, or our how we construct the song. When you listen to it, that's an MZG song, whether it's chill, hype, late night, whatever.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up too. Like, I'd love to hear maybe a little bit more about how you work that organizational part of it, and between the two of you, like, is it great, or is it sometimes annoying to work with your brother on music?
Not at all. When you're experienced, a lot of things just start to flow. You have everything's organized. I look at it a lot like this. Like, a lot of producers sort of have to get into, when they start, you get into a flow of mining for sounds, right? And what I mean by that, just like a DJ, you're digging for records. You come up on some crap, you come up on some gold. You store the gold away in your folders to bring up when in your creative sessions, right? So we've been doing that, what I just, literally just that, with samples, drum samples, synth sounds, blah, blah, organizing what we think is dope and having our go-tos, the stuff that we just immediately go to. We know that folder's fire, full of like great tunes. Yeah. And then we build our own sessions, and then since we live together, Charles will be like, Charles will be like, that sounds good. Yeah, like, what are you doing there? And I'll be like, this is something I made, and I'll pass it off to him. Yes. So it's literally just a constant shuffle,
I love that.
Yeah, MZG is a collaboration in and of itself.
What'd you say?
MZG is a collaboration in and of itself.
Yeah, right, exactly.
We're always collaborating, but yeah, we are definitely been mining for a lot of sounds. Hey, mountains to mountains to mine.
There's gold in them there hills.
I swear it's
I'm a pickaxe prospector.
I swear it's a tale as old as time. It's like everything depends on what you bring to the table, right? And so what we bring to the table is the sounds that we've collected for so long, right? Those are things that we value and feel like are, essential to our creative process, and that's how we've kind of gotten around to having big collabs with like big gigantic Manic Focus. They've seen us around enough to like, we've been digging and been working at it. You know what I'm saying? And like that's like so important to our process is like maintaining those moments of, when we dug for samples and like, rehashing them and, sort of explaining to the world why these are great, and it's cool because you go back in your collection, you're like, oh, I forgot I had this. Like, this is so dope, and that's kind of how our inspiration starts, like, to start making music. And sometimes we'll sit down together and make it, but a lot of times it's literally just us making sessions and then him hearing it and me hearing it and be like, oh, this is awesome. Let's work on it.
I do. You do live together, right? In the same house?
Yeah. Hey, Zach,
with our,
right?
I can definitely hear him.
I just think that that's so great in terms of like, like you can literally just be like, oh, I'm going to go to this fridge and get a snack. What is that fire coming out of that other room? Like, that's a great way to just stay in the zone, maybe.
But we live together with both our girlfriends.
Who are also awesome.
Yeah, Araya, talent manager extraordinaire. Becky Dixon,
talent manager extraordinaire.
It's a musical household. It's great. And
it is great.
We get along.
They're music managers. We're producers. It's cool.
Yeah, I know. That's so nice. That's like the dream, maybe a little bit. Like everyone gets along. Everyone does their own dishes. I hope.
No, it's so funny. Some people will be like, "You guys live together?"
They immediately, they're just like,
they straight up think that like,
how do you handle this toxicity?
And I'm just like, I don't know. It's kind of great. It's like one little happy family over here. But
it's so cute. I'm coming to visit.
I appreciate the toxic assumption.
Well, that's because as we've already addressed, everyone's mind goes to really fucked up places.
They really do.
The world is crazy right now. Everyone's like right off the gates. Negativity.
I can't blame them. Like the amount of people that when I be like, oh, where do you live? Or like live with my brother, his girlfriend, and my girlfriend, and they're like, whoa. like the shit storm he must live in. Like, you poor soul.
Aw, you're like,
we run a pretty tight ship around here. Everyone does their thing.
Everything's chill. You can,
it's all right.
Run away with whatever idea you think it is, but it's chill over here.
I mean, that's how I feel every time I tell someone I live in Florida, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and I'm like, "Right, yeah, exactly."
Matt, you're missing out. Actually, it's December. What's your temperature? I'm
gonna go in the pool. Do you want to go in the pool?
You want to go in the pool? It's Christmas.
Okay, I like this question. Do you have any advice for smaller artists who haven't made the jump outside of their hometown? Like,
keep perfecting your craft. Like if you haven't if you don't have the funds, if you don't have the ins, if you haven't sorted that thing out, don't stray away from what is giving you the ideas to even make that jump in the first place. What even gave us the confidence to do it was that we had worked on our craft enough to be cool. I think other people are gonna dig this sound as much as our hometown. He's been putting up with us for the past, And keep digging and keep working at what you're doing, and the more confident you are in your craft, the more hours you put into it, the way more confident you're going to be by just placing yourself into a new space, because you've already it's not in a way conquered, but you've achieved the I don't know, a zenith in your hometown. So now it's time to achieve a new boundary, set new boundaries, because you've already not crossed your boundaries, but you've achieve that goal of yours. So now you're cool, let's scale this a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And don't be afraid. The fear thing the fear will keep you completely stricken to your familiar space. Once you relinquish the fear, it's everything changes. I
keep fear. I mean, fire bad, but mentally, you gotta make sure that you're not your own worst enemy.
Right.
Yeah, because that's, as an artist, I think crippling self-doubt is one of the toughest ones to get over. And I feel like, especially when you're not there, like I don't know, it was like, is it Robert Glass? It was like some writer that was saying like his first, like, someone Glass, it was, their last name is Glass, he's a writer. I might have botched, I'm pulling it out of my ass a little bit, I might have botched
Mr. Glass!
But,
Mr. Glass!
he was saying that his like first works, he couldn't stand. Like he hated them.
Yeah.
And it was like, it was the epitome of like everything that like crushed him on the inside. It was like, I could be better, but I'm not right now. You have to get over that hurdle. That obstacle is like the toughest one to get over. But once you like have achieved that, that's when you're like, cool, let's go move.
And another piece of advice I could give artists is when they're younger, getting into it, straight up make the music that you want to make right now, because when you're new to the game, it is the freshest and most like honest and true to yourself tunes that you'll make. Like, we still have people ask songs that we made years ago. People will ask for songs years ago, and we're just like, well, how could you ever? No, right?
Yeah.
And like we're just like, no thanks. And they're just like, oh my god, but it's so good. Like, you would be surprised at how
whose life it's changing versus how you makes you feel, you know? Like,
right.
That's
like, you
so
could
real.
you could absolutely hate it, and everyone is gonna be like, this is a banger. You could literally, like, and it's happened to us before. We have some, like, we
there's
put
some
out
tracks
some
that we're
songs.
just like,
What?
why do you guys all like this one? You like this one so
What?
much?
Yeah,
I
right.
like the one I liked. Those aren't going to be as congruent as you think. Like, the way you
Right.
feel about a track versus how fans are going to feel about the track, they're not like this, you know, and not interchangeable. They can be very, very different. And most of the times, the ones that we felt kind of like, have been our best tracks. And we're like, okay, whatever. Like,
So
the
honestly,
story continues. Like,
honestly, so to round out the advices, you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised.
yeah.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. That's all I gotta say.
Well, and I liked that, you know, where the advices began. This concept of like, just keep honing your craft and keep making what's inside. Like, I think that that's really good advice for any stage, right? Because I think that the flip side is kind of like you said, when suddenly songs that you felt kind of, I don't know, and then you're hearing good responses about it, or maybe you have like a hit and then, or something good happens, and if you start chasing that too hard in the other direction, where it's like, oh wait, maybe I need to keep doing this, or I should do more of that because I'm chasing the success that I tasted, is like its other edge of the sword, right? Like,
You have to shield yourself from the external influence sometimes, because like what it all boiled down to was like what was coming from in here. So like, but it's a dance between the things. It's like taking an influence is fire.
Yeah.
Like, there could be things that you're like, see a show, like you'd be like, holy shit, that was the coolest shit ever. I want to go try and make some BPM shit like that. You know? Like I'll be at shows sometimes and I have like a BPM counter app on my phone.
Okay,
like,
incredible nerd moment.
If I'm like really vibing with the shit, I'll straight up just be like on my phone, or like I'll have it be like.
That's the literal mind technology. You're out there with like the treasure finder.
Also, for younger producers, like I could have advanced, I think, further along had I known this, is literally try your best to take songs that you resonate with and try to reconstruct them in Ableton or your DAW. Like, you'll never do it because, like, you know, you just can't do that, but you will get inside of the producer's brain.
It's good practice.
You know, it's good.
Practice.
Obviously, you'll never release the song, blah, 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 but you'll be like, just
good
try
luck
to
if you do.
try to carbon copy a Katra song, or like, Jay Dilla. Like, just lay the track out and try and recreate what their rhythm was, what the synth sound was, and you will learn through the process.
Totally.
The answers are there. You just have to get into it.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of trust yourself and experiment
yourself, sure.
and like
and make sure that crippling self-doubt doesn't like dim your shine.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, like, even for me personally, that was always like one that I suffered with a lot, was just like,
what am I
even doing?
How do you talk to that voice when it comes up? How do you
address
like
that? Dude, there's gonna be days where it will stop you. Like, I mean, like,
That's
you
just-
are a human being. It's just like part of the
Right.
like, human process of like making errors. But like that's how you get through it is by like letting it get you down and then realizing why the hell did I what
And then
you know
and-
like you have to go through the process to like be like oh this was bad and then you're like wait a second like someone just came out and said they like that song changed their life. I'm still living in my hometown. I got this. What am I doing? You know, you can
Yeah.
sometimes just be like your own worst enemy and that like
also,
stay true to yourself and have that like make sure you're like in control of the voices, you know, like voices. Like you know.
well, what was I going to say? Also, you just have to be very careful about feedback and asking for feedback.
That's an
I
interesting
made,
one.
I made crucial errors back in the day where I loved my songs, loved them, and they were great, and they still are great. And I would send them to somebody that I thought had, you know, like more to offer the song than the guy who freaking made it did. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when you put it
And
like
I would
that.
I would ask for their feedback, and it was always kind of like, oh, I would have done this, and it's like, wait a minute, like, it's best to just know exactly what you need to have done with that track. Like even when my friends ask me for feedback, I'm kind of like, I'm
Yeah.
touchy with it because it's like this is such a personal thing. I'll give
True.
you like mixing and engineering feedback because that's
Objective
a very
feedback's different.
Objective
Subjective
feedback?
you can get fucked with that. because-
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, okay, cool. You're telling me to like completely do something different than what I had internally thought was great. Mm-hmm. But like,
Right.
but mixing
And-
and engineering, like he was saying, is like, okay, like, yes,
Right.
I could definitely turn that kick up a little bit more.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. But like I would just I would
That's
just
more
be
of
like,
for
what,
discussion.
I would just be like, what do you think of this? Or like, I see even a lot of people post on subreddits that I follow where
Right.
people are like, what do you think? And it's just like, bro, just put it out with confidence.
Yeah.
And let it ride. And then
People
learn
respond
from,
to confidence. They always
They just
will.
do.
That's true.
You know,
It
like,
just-
and yourself will respond to it.
I would always sit there in my head like, why is it like I feel like I worked so hard on this, I'm not getting this response, and that's like an ego trap you can get caught up
Yeah.
in. Everyone wants if you're just quiet about it and don't like sort of seek validation and just put stuff out, I swear
Yeah.
it starts to build. Yeah, it's just weird how the universe works.
It really is quite like it's like the most selfish thought you could probably have is like everyone is supposed to. Like,
Yeah.
Why doesn't everybody like it? Somebody doesn't
Why?
like it. What?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Like,
What?
dude,
Me?
like it was like what was it? There was like that Rick Rubin quote. He was like, "Not everything is for everyone."
Yeah, something like
You know,
that. It's
like
it's
which is like
in
you know,
that vein.
obviously, but like that really can help you out with if you're feeling like like I put something out that I'm not getting a lot of like positive
Right.
feedback.
Well, and with our world that we live in, this like very social media driven world where everyone has become victim a little bit to the like, oh, did I get as many likes as I should have? Like, wait, did I
Everyone's trying to
do?
be somebody?
You
what I'm
know,
saying?
yeah. And it's like
So
it's
saturated.
yeah, it's good to remember that like, hey, like, do you like what you did? Like,
That's the key, though. Is like
Right.
if it is making you, if it's giving you chills, if it's giving you
Yeah.
like a reason, the will to like keep going. That's
Yo,
what's important, really,
that
you
is
know?
so
Like,
real too. I feel
Yeah,
that
yeah.
totally as like a creator at all in general.
yeah,
Like,
I'm sure.
did making
writing-
this make me feel like I wanted to keep working on it, and like it gave me this like energy to be doing
Yeah.
it? Like,
Totally.
that's because you could be working on something where you're kind of like slogging through it, and you're like, I don't know, I don't really want to.
There's gonna be days like that too. but
Yeah.
it's,
You know-
it's just another obstacle in the way of like achieving that like point that you're trying to get.
It's
You,
so
you
yeah.
know it's funny to your point about social media. I feel like there's certain people who have social media who should have never ever had social
They
media. You know what I
never
mean?
should have given you social media.
Like they really just were like, everyone can have social media, and I'd be like, ooh, should have been an application process for this one because you're falling apart over here.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah, I feel
Some people
for
can't handle that heat, man. And
Yeah.
We're really witnessing a lot of like vulnerabilities, you know, like,
Yeah.
as well as strengths. There's just like all of humanity, just like, "Whoa, here's the
oh
camera phone.
god, I know.
and-
display your inner everything, whatever."
And when,
No.
when people speak about like feeling like they're being watched all the time, it's like they are.
you are, yeah.
watched all the time. people are watching everything that we do and that we're posting. You know what I mean? Like everyone has a lens on each other.
Yeah.
You know,
and I can see where the paranoia sets in.
Right? Yeah. Yeah. Wait. What's that great Nirvana lyric that's like, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not after you? Like,
Yes.
I love that. That needs to be on a T-shirt.
yeah, I'm sure it has. It had to have been sold at Hot Topic at one point. Like, but it's
Just because
very.
you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not happy.
It's very real. Oh man, I really loved getting an inside look at your process a little bit, and I appreciate the constant reminders. I feel like I'm going through that right now too. I'm sure we all are, right? But like the constant reminder that like, hey, if you had a bad day, that's so normal. Like, oh, if you didn't feel like working today, very normal. Like literally no one's on, but it's like social media makes you feel sometimes like everyone's always on too, because no one's like, here's me missing my deadline. Like, look at this sick picture of me sucking. Like,
Right, exactly. Like no one's exposing any of that information. You know, no one's exposing the suck. There's so much suck every day. You know what I mean?
literally every moment that hasn't been posted on Instagram is a moment that I was probably not doing what I should do. But y'all have been having a really awesome 2022. Had to remind myself what year it was. You played Red Rocks.
Transitionary phase.
You played Red Rocks.
Yeah, we played Red Rocks for sure.
Fucking congratulations.
That was one where we're like, okay, cool. Like moving out here, the big goal that happened. We worked hard for it. We went through the motions, and it's like
our parents all came out for that one. I was
Yes.
like, now it's like they never raise their eyebrows anymore at music. They're like, oh.
they're like, oh.
Yes.
They're like you're still doing music.
Right. You know, I would love to see the statistics on how many parents of the artists come to the Red Rock show. I think that's one of the shows that like everyone's mom and dad or family are coming to. Like,
it's a national. It's like a ninth wonder of the world.
yeah.
I feel like I'm playing on the great. I feel like I'm playing at the pyramids.
Right?
It's a very touchstone experience, you know, where you're just kind of like, wow, like we've made it this far. Whether you're a support act or you're doing a headlining show, whatever, like it's just like an honor. And I feel like when honor comes into the conversation, also family is like there as well.
Yeah.
And like whatever family you have at the time, like, you know, if they can make it, it's definitely like an experience worth, and you know.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what your other favorite moments of 2022 are. We're almost at the end of 2022, so it's time to be reflective. And I'd love to hear
Jim and Jam Music Festival.
Yeah, shout out Jamie Sloan again. I know she was out at that one too.
That one was really special. We'd never really visited that part of the Southwest. You know, being around all the cacti, it was just
the
beautiful.
gems, the cactus, it was wonderful.
Oh my god! How many mushrooms were you on? Just kidding.
Not enough, and not enough time to do them because we were in and out. Unfortunately,
that festival was beautiful. Let's see, summer camp was awesome. Oh man, we played Electric Forest.
One of my all-time favorites.
We went on stage with Big Gigantic. They brought us out to hype up our collaboration energy. And Kat, let me tell you, like. We've been
Papa
in front
Dom
of some
and Daddy J, man.
Papa Dom and Daddy J.
I love them so much. Yeah,
they're so great. We were not used to being on stage in front of that many people.
Yeah.
Like we played some big crowds. This shit was bananas, dude.
Well, their crowd in particular is like so dedicated too. You know what I mean? Like it's one of those like.
It was like a horizon of people.
Wow.
Like we would look past and we'd be like, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. You know what I mean? It was really cool. That was a very cool.
There was a moment where I was just like, right, okay, no, we're doing this. Like, I mean, it's like a first time for like any like, you know, we're a smaller act like at this moment, and then like to be asked on stage in front of like, you know, 50,000 or more people.
When the faces become the hordes, you know, and I guess when you can really see the group reaction, you know what I mean? I'm sure like when the hands go up or like when they're nodding to the beat or like it must start to look like
no matter
an ocean.
what, there's still someone on the rail just like
And that is, I'm telling you, a new type of insecurity and like you thought insecurities go away when you get to like artists like, on our size or their size. Just you wait. There's gonna be people on the rail fucking upset that you're playing.
Yeah, we had one guy just like
that's so rude.
We had a girl chuck her water bottle directly at my head.
Wait, in an angry motion or what? Not in a I love this so much. I want you to have my water.
So upset we were performing.
That's crazy.
It was so
You know what
bad.
though? I'm going to make a general statement and I apologize if I offend anybody, but it is a weird type of person who sits on the rail all day. Like go see other things, go pee or something. Like what's happening?
Lack of a better word,
to
loser.
you?
For lack of a better word. That might be a little harsh.
It's just
friends just ride the rail until you
Come on, you paid all that money. You came from where?
It's like
listen, everyone can spend their money how they choose to spend it. It doesn't change the fact that what you're doing comes off rude.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like there's obviously people that would rather have your spot. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But
Also,
sometimes it's such a toss up. You know, there's no seating at festivals.
Yeah.
But I feel like ultimately, like to go back to your question, like the Electric Forest set was definitely
so
like
good.
the experience. Was our first time going to Electric Forest.
Isn't it it's
spoiled,
magical?
Rotten.
Yeah.
Spoiled, rotten. Araya was working. She had a golf cart ride for us like most of the time.
Nice.
Like we got to play on this massive stage with Big Gigantic, who we've been looking up to for over a decade.
Yeah.
We played the VIP like tent. Tent. I say tent. It's like an auditorium. It's like this massive place. Like
It's literally a big.
So it was like all based off of like our friend Ryan Hug like reaching out and being like, hey, you guys are going to Electric Forest? Like I can slide you into
That's
this.
so
like,
sick.
We're like, you know, like you literally like it was the one thing about this year that I really like that resonated with me the most, and it's like corny as it sounds, it's like you literally get by with little help from your friends. Straight up. Like that is the truest lyric statement, whatever. Like you like your friends are there for you, and sometimes it'll be a year where they're just like constantly showing it.
Yeah.
Because like I mean, just even like the album release party for Big Gigantic, like Dom and Jeremy brought us up and they like shared a little moment with the crowd and us and told a story about how it all came to be. Like that was also like another just like wow moment because Zach and I saw Big Gigantic like a while ago at a festival and we were just like, you know, chewed up, just like enjoying ourselves at a festival for like one of the first times. And
I've been there.
Seeing Big Gigantic and we're just like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, their live show like turns something on in your brain.
Little did I know that like, you know, however 10
right?
later, we're playing Red Rocks with them.
That's a
on
big
their album.
moment.
Like, dude, the most full circle moment ever. Like moments were this year, straight up. So like, definitely like Red Rocks album release party, Electric Forest,
Jim and Jam.
The management company that we just signed with, Mammoth Music Group. Respect. They really also helped us out, like, and got us on. Like, we had like a summer where we were playing a lot of like more festivals than we've ever played. It's like the first MZG like festy summer that we've ever had.
Like we did one festival in 2021. Obvious reasons, COVID.
Right.
Blah, blah,
Yeah.
But it was like that for a while for us though. So this is to my point is like, you know, we get together with this team. We played one festival one year, and we will have played like 12 in 2022.
Wow. I can't.
Yeah.
No, I did not mean to stop you in your tracks, but
you're good.
I
Definite
can't.
growth, and I feel like also like we finally met someone or like that truly is like a fan and supporter and friend that is now like in our team. Shout outs to Calhoun McDougal. Like,
hey, Calhoun.
Like that, like, and we kind of like
Calhoun got mentioned in the chat.
a little bit like we like I think in 2021 and like some point in 2021 we were kind of getting like the feelers out there, like seeing like how it was working. But like over the past year and a half, like we've really grown to like know this man. He's been such a supporter, an advocate for what we do, and like it's truthfully been like a blessing to have someone on your team that just like likes what you do, likes you, and wants to help further scale the project to like to achieve like our dreams and theirs as well. So it's nice
and
to
he
see
just and he just cares. You know, like it's really hard to find people who actually care and are willing to sacrifice their time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's like time is just ticking away here. So it really is a blessing to have someone actually be able to dedicate their time, which is precious to everybody. I don't care who you are. Everyone's time is extremely precious. To be able to dedicate time to something that you're building, it's awesome. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy.
Precious.
Precious.
Yes, good.
Yes, good. Have your fill. Have your fill of your time.
Well, that's so good. That's what you deserve it. But it's so real and it's so true, and it is hard to come by. From what I gather, it is teams that really honestly believe and see and understand and like for all the right reasons.
Yeah, so like it happened so naturally. Like there's like really there was such an organic motion that occurred about it. Like there really wasn't any kind of like desperation involved. There wasn't like someone wants something out of us. They were just like in a kindred way, just like I really like what you guys do.
Yeah.
I've been like honestly like a little like bewildered by like how long it's taken me to do this, but like I want to see what we can make happen here.
Yeah.
You know, and like when it really comes from like a good place of care and like support, it's the world is literally your oyster and you're unstoppable.
Yeah. Speaking of which, what intentions are you taking with you into 2023? And I'd love to hear what plans and big ideas you have for next year.
We just got off the phone with Cal.
Hey!
we already have 6 months of music like
fucking
ready to go. So like we
you producers, you're always doing
we have like
that.
half the year already pretty maxed like ready to go.
My ideals that are coming with me next year is just consistency.
Yeah.
And just because you played Red Rocks doesn't mean you got to stop working your ass off.
That's right.
Oh my God! Does not even mean like you can have all the greatest things happen to you, but that should make you want to work even harder.
Yeah, it means now you gotta start even more. You gotta follow it up.
Keep grinding.
One of our biggest
blessed,
influences.
Never stressed.
One of our biggest influences growing up. He was kind of big proponent of us pursuing Ableton and production and stuff like that. It was Hero Bust. Familiar with
shout
Hero
out.
Bust?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So oddly enough, we have some history with him. He stayed in our dorm room at
Oh my God.
one of his first shows in Jacksonville in like 2010.
Wow.
I know it's crazy to see because there was like 30 people there. It wasn't a lot of people. Now he is literally like international DJ.
Mm-hmm.
Tours goes to China and stuff like that. And I remember having a conversation with him. And he just, because I was so excited for him when he was blowing up and like really kind of like getting there. And he kind of stopped me and was like, there is no cusp. And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, there's no making it. He's like, I thought it was going to be all, fun and games when I got this big agent and this, that, and the other. But I'm working overtime. Yeah. And he's like, and it's only gotten more and more just worky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing what he said, but these are the ideas of, what he was saying to me. But one thing it was not paraphrased is there is no cusp.
Yeah.
And he was just saying,
Very
kept,
true.
and that resonated with me, and that's what we're doing now. We're bringing that idea into 2023. It's like, we hit some milestones, but guess what? There's a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
It's really tough to break through when you ain't making a peak or fighting through that shit.
Consistency. Like back to the advice we were talking about before. It's like trust yourself and be consistent. Like keep going. I tell, something I tell young writers all the time is like, there's no story that's going to like make your career. Like what makes your career is just years of stories and you just build a reputation on that, like, you know.
100%. It's almost identical to producing.
It's gotta be, yeah, because it's like
there's disc. It's the discography. You know? Like it's,
what? I love that. Fucking put that on a t-shirt.
Clip that.
That's so real though.
Straight up though. But I mean, like for you, like it's not the one story. It's like the collection, the library of stories that you've created for your work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's the vibe, man. You know, it's
the vibe, man. Come on, man.
But no, consistency is definitely key. Like that's the big takeaway. Like you definitely don't want to like stray away from like, don't sleep on yourself. You know?
Don't sleep on yourself, but do take naps, but do keep going and trust yourself and experiment, but you know, just do all the things.
I'm contradicting.
It's easy. Yeah, no. Okay.
Nap good, snack good.
I have loved every second of this chat. We are coming up on just a little past an hour now, I think, or maybe
I keep going.
Hit our hour.
We're breaking. That's what we do.
I know.
We're breaking genre bounders and
genre bounders.
Genre bounders.
You guys heard all the truth of being a twin. Everyone wants to know personal things about you. You know, right off the cuff. As your science experiment.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it here at Crackle. It's funny. I once started an interview with, I don't know what it is about my face that just says, like, tell me all of your weirdest things. And I started an interview once, and the artist was like, okay, my social security number is, I was like, haha, you're funny, but I'm listening.
Have you seen the clip of Sun Squabby recently? They're getting interviewed by Andy Frasco.
No.
And the teaser clip is he's like, so I got a lot of questions, and he looks at all three of them and he goes, Who beats off in the band the most?
Oh my God,
and it's just everyone's faces being like, what?
Oh my God.
And they're just zooming in on all the guilty faces. It's so good, dude. It's like my favorite thing I've seen on the internet.
Immediately watching that. Please send.
I will send that to you.
I thought to that point too, like when we were hanging out in Joshua Tree, when we started talking, like we were getting into some like part of the conversation, and then like it ultimately like it got on a point where you're like telling me that your mom was the original super freak.
Oh no! Okay, it's my mom's cousin is Linda Blair from The Exorcist, and my mom swears that song is about her because they were dating at the time when it came out. Although, listen, to be fair, was Blair the original super freak? Probably. I don't think that she would argue that if she were in the chat right now. She'd probably be like, "Well, it was the '80s."
What y'all don't know is,
like, I wouldn't dare her to prove it right or wrong. Let's just say that.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I would love to have y'all back sometime next year. Maybe when we've reached that 6-month mark and you've unloaded an onslaught of funky tunes. We'll have to bring it back on. Yeah. Maybe I will bring my mom on one of these days too. Maybe for a Mother's Day. Maybe you want to bring your mom on. Yeah,
you got any more content?
Let's do it all. I'm not gonna stop. Content is consistent. The other day I realized. Have you ever thought about this? That content and content are basically the same word. And like
another homonym in the English language.
you don't say.
Patient. I'm a doctor with patient. I need to be patient. Homonyms, English. I don't know why this language is like this, but it is.
I know. I feel bad for everyone who learns it, but you're all doing so good. I'm always impressed. I'm always so impressed. Okay, on the way out, I am going to play Ease Our Minds, which was on the other end of the spectrum that you were chatting about. Is there anything you want to tell folks about this song in particular?
Benny Bloom
is the GOAT.
That name is goated.
Producer, musician, He is Benny Bloom is just like it needs to be.
He's a
He is a
He's a
star.
whirlwind of talent. He's a
100%.
whirlwind.
That must be fun to be in the studio
He's
with.
amazing, and he
Sure.
it was 100% 50-50. That man helped produce and create the licks and just like lay the track out. He is such a hands-on guy, great guy to work with.
That's so
Yeah, for
awesome.
sure. That like that as far as These Are Mine's concerned, is like that track wouldn't be what it is without Benny Bloom's influence, and it was just definitely an honor to work with him in the studio because he's an absolute joy and talent to work with.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to play it for everybody. I'm really a fan of it. I love everyone's doubting the twin. No one doubts that you're twins. We all know.
Joey
we
has
all know
big
that you're
troll
twins.
Vibes. Big troller vibes over there, Joe.
Joey's
He
the
said he
ultimate troll. It's very true. It's good. We love Joey over here.
It's good. It keeps things interesting in chat.
It's true. Okay, Zach, Charles, MZG. Thank you so much for coming by. I can't wait to have you again. And when I come to Denver, you'll have to show me around. We'll bro down for sure. If there's a couch in your music mecca, and shout out the girls. Give the girls hugs for me.
We will. We were about to see them after this for sure.
Yay.
But yeah, we'll definitely holler, and thank you so much for having us.
Yay! It was my ultimate pleasure. So glad to be your friends. Your friends? Your friend. We're friends? Okay.
Friends.
Is it plural? Is it plural for me too when I'm talking to you? Like, I don't know how it works. Thank you.
Bye, Kat.
See you. Bye.